Okay, hi everybody. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about battleship positioning. I'm actually in my York here, but I just wanted to demonstrate a couple of things about how to correctly position your battleships, because the way the enemy battleships position is actually going to throw the game for them. Um, so right now we've actually won the other flank. What I've been doing is I've just been kind of sitting in D4 and just kind of chilling and shooting HE at these battleships who are pushing up the one line. Now, I can get away with this because there are islands between me and them, and they have friendly battleships that are a lot closer that are more immediate threats. And I've just been using kind of this cliff face and that island to just be able to put a lot of damage into the battleships. I've already done about 54,000 damage. I'm going to end up with about 62,000 by the time this engagement is done and a kill. But what I really want to highlight is what's going on with their battleships. So if you'll notice, their battleships are all on the one line pretty much. They had, it looks like they had 5 battleships in this game, and 4 of them, a grand total of 4 of their battleships, all went down the one line. And in fact, the Scharnhorst earlier, his corpse is right here, pushed down this part and just instantly died, basically, because he was all by himself and just got killed. So because their battleships are all over here, they're not able to stop these guys from pushing into the cap. Now, if I'm these Texases down here, right, I'm thinking, okay, we need to defend the cap. And like, even though there's tier 7s pushing in and these guys are only tier 5s, they can still slow down the cap. They can still potentially kill things. And if both of them double team the Colorado, it's theoretically possible they could kill it. But instead, they're going to continue to push. And this is a huge mistake, right? Because what's going to happen with these battleships is they're going to end up just throwing the game for their team because they aren't able to reset the cap because they're so far out of position on the one line. So I see battleships actually do this quite a lot, where what they'll do is they'll just sort of go off to the edge of the map, and even though they're technically playing really aggressively, like it won't matter because of where they're positioned. So these guys did play really, really aggressive, but it didn't actually help their team a whole lot because like they just got farmed by the crossfire that was created as they pushed up. Because I was here and these battleships were here, and when these guys started to push in, they just got shot from multiple different directions and just got killed, right? Because they didn't have support, they pushed away from their support, which they shouldn't have done. So lots of mistakes by these battleships on the one line on the enemy team. And the other mistake, again, as I pointed out, because they're so far out here, like this Colorado, it's really, really hard for the Colorado to actually react to what's happening in the cap circle because he's so far out of position. And because he's so far forward, it's hard for him to effectively disengage without killing himself even faster. Um, and the same is true for these Texases, right? And so that's going to basically be how the enemy team throws this game, is because what they're going to do is they're just sitting off on the one line, sitting on the two line, and they're not able to effectively interface with the cap circle, which is being capped. And again, I see people do this all the time. And this is just another example of why, battleships that play in central positions with aggressive sort of types of play, really win games. So our battleships played really, really aggressively, and they just pushed through because the enemy team didn't have any battleships there because they were all either camping or on the one line. Um, and so our battleships just pushed through and pushed into their cap circle, completely unopposed, right? And their cruisers couldn't do shit about it. Um, and so now what's happening is their battleships haven't been able to actually like engage our battleships very much at all, at least the guys who are pushing through. And our guys who are up in the top left corner of the map have just kind of like occupied all of their attention. Um, So that's really why I wanted to show you guys this game. Not because like I do anything particularly amazing in it. Like literally all I did in this game was just sort of sit behind a little cliff and shoot the battleships that were pushing in. And doing so, I'm able to get about 70,000 damage, which isn't like super remarkable in New York, but still, it's not terrible. Um, and so now I'm just going to push into this Akatsuki and kill him. Because my Hydro is on cooldown because I was using it earlier to try and not get torpedoed in the cap circle, and I'm actually going to push through here and eat a friendly torp. But it's worth because I killed the Akatsuki. The one thing I wish didn't happen is I wish our team didn't cap here because like we lose a ton of damage. This kind of thing kind of annoys me a lot. So I guess this is kind of a rant video about things that annoy me that players do in this game. But one of the things that annoys me is when people, when you have like a fucking what is that, a 10-3 advantage and people insist on capping. Like there's no reason at all to cap here. There's 2 Texases over there, right? Like the thing we really want to be thinking about doing is getting more damage. Like there's no argument against that. There's really no argument for capping here because you're just ending the game sooner. Like they're not gonna. The 2 fucking Texases are not going to win them the game. Like they're just not. Um, that's just not realistic. Um, so like the least the guys in the cap can do is not cap in this scenario because really all they're doing is just taking away damage from the friendly team. That's literally it. So it's really kind of a selfish move, I think, for these guys to cap in this scenario. So I don't know why they're doing that. But that's kind of how this is going to work. Um, so there you go. That's why battleships positioned on the one line do not help their team win the game, right? Because they put themselves super out of position. They make themselves incapable of reacting to a changing scenario with any degree of efficacy. And they make it just really, really hard for their team to win in other areas of the map because when the battleship doesn't position in an aggressive central location, it becomes really, really difficult for that battleship to stop enemy battleships from just charging in and killing all their cruisers, which is what ended up happening in this game. So there you go. That's a little diatribe on battleship positioning. Um, I hope to see you guys all next time. Thank you.